But before that, it's WoT versus Fenom. WoT up 2-0 in this one. And despite the lineups that WoT has continued to bring, they look a little bit questionable. He has continued to perform.
WoT is a god among men. Last season, he made it to the top 8 with a Reno Priest. Now, Priest was considered nearly unplayable in that season. Brought it with a Reno Priest without Raza Chained.
That's right.
Without one of Reno Priest's best cards, a lot of people would say. Now, this time around, he brought an aggressive Murloc Paladin, so a very low curve. Lots of those, you know, fast Murlocs, few 1-drops, even Bluegill Warriors in the deck, with a lease.
He's got some strange choices, there's no question about that, but it is a bit tough to argue with some of his results. You know, he was in all the playoffs in 2016. He came in first place in Copa America, the Spring Major. He was top 8 of Winters of this year. This guy can play.
He's got some results to back it up, and right now he's currently 2-0 in matches and also 2-0 in games in this match, looking to move his score up to 3-0 on the day, which would put him in a great position moving into the second half of day number 1 to try and make it to his second top 8 in a row.
Yeah, one of Colombia's best for sure. And Phenom's got his work cut out for him in this matchup. This is typically a matchup where he's looking for taking the board and keeping it. And one of the critical cards that's missing from this opener for Fenom is the 2 copies of Hungry Crab that he has in his Hunter deck. Hunter, of course, being a very beast-centric deck. The 1/2 beast body for 1 mana, not that bad of a card in general, but in this matchup, it really shines being able to eat a Murloc and become Totem Golem sized in a matter of moments. Here, he's having to play off a more fair opener, and that's giving WoT the time to just really start dominating this board pressure. He wants to keep the board as clean as possible and make sure it's as difficult as it can be for Fenom to land a very valuable Houndmaster.
More so than beasts, hunters love the board. So not only the Hungry Crab would be good just to, you know, eat these Murlocs, but it also would just swing the board in his favor. And right now, he's just missing those. It feels bad when you put a 2 of in your deck to specifically target this type of deck, and it never comes. But, I mean, Murloc Paladin's got game.
And got game indeed. Gentle Megasaur, one of the big payoff cards that's included in these more aggressive Murloc Paladin builds. Not the greatest of options here for WoT. None of these buff his stats on board, and that's a tough one to miss because you're looking at +1/+1, the additional health that's available, the death rattle for 2 1/1 plants afterwards. There's a wealth of options that really increase the amount of stats he has. In this case, WoT's going to have to use some of his more fair choices.
More fair choices. Great way to put it. +3 health can sometimes feel like a real uphill battle.
Yeah, it's very unfair.
Like the health is a hill. And you have to climb up them.
You wouldn't think it's that much, but +9 health and a 5/4 body is pretty good.
Makes sense to me.
Poisonous to take. And interesting that WoT chose to trade this way. I think this is a bit of a mistake here from WoT. He could have used the 3/1 body and then kept around an additional minion in this scenario. So he's valuing keeping the board clear and perhaps pushing a little bit of damage over valuing a 1/1 body and a clear board from Fenom. That is a very weird position, I think, for WoT to take in this spot, because I think you just end up with a stronger board overall.
Still got a pretty good board, though. This is going to trade over, but he's still going to have a nice trade over the Leok and minions on the board to back it up, so.
Oh, Finja. That is possibly the best draw in WoT's deck right now. He's starting to gas out a little bit.
I don't know, the Elise would have been pretty good here.
He's starting to gas out a little bit, and this is the spot where Fenom can really take control of it. Operating on a single card, 2 single card basis, Hunter is a deck that can really perform, but when it falls behind on the amount of gas it has and can't really get anything going, that's where things get really tough. And so Fenom setting up a board position where Finja doesn't have a spectacular trading immediately, it's about the best situation he's going to get, but with his remaining cards, I'm not sure he can ever keep this Finja from being a massive effect.
Yeah. These jeweled macaws are going to have to pick up some Hungry Crabs.
And then he's going to have to get Finja out of stealth somehow.
Flare.
Yeah, well, that's not in his deck, so that's a tall order. No deadly shots either. He actually has no strong way to interact with Finja. while it's stealthed.
I think we're going to have to call this one down to a deck building mishap.
That's exactly what I would call it.
No way to interact with stealth minions. Back to the drawing board. Deadly Shot could have done it as well.
Move quickly.
Could have. Fenom had been a fairly storied player himself, though. He took 5th at the Onog Major at South by Southwest, and he was top 16 of PAC South this year as well. And he's also one of the engineers for Vicious Syndicate, who makes meta reports on ladder statistics, what decks players have been performing the best with, and how those matchups interact with one another.
Very in tune with the Hearthstone competitive community. He's hip and with it.
Well, so is the Finja in this one. I don't know how Fenom really climbs out of this one effectively.
Nah.
At some point, he's going to have to play a minion, and I guess what he's looking for is to make a giant taunt minion so he can keep Finja from actually pushing through, and then maybe stabilize some damage back behind that. But this is his only chance to do it, is this game right here. He has to win this game or he's fallen to 2-1.
Hoping for the Streetwise Investigator off the top. But it looks like that's not going to be an option. Eventually, he's going to have to give up some Murlocs to that Finja. Now, granted, Finja, this isn't like Aggro Druid or the Water Rogue or Warrior that we saw in Winter. Finja can pull out some not-so-great Murlocs.
It's definitely true. With 2 Aldor Peacekeepers, another Gentle Megasaur.
Man.
True Silver already equipped. This is looking fantastic for WoT right now. Pretty easy attack with the True Silver Champion. Keep the Finja as healthy as possible.
Pulling out 2 Murlocs and buffing them up. He's going to be able to get a 3rd Murloc on the board with his hero power.
And that's about as good as it gets. WoT has a ton of Murlocs in his deck. He is not guaranteed, like a normal Finja package, to nail Murloc War Leader or Bluegill Warrior. There's a lot of misses.
He nailed it.
And suddenly, Fenom is in heaps of trouble, TJ. I'm not sure he's getting back in this one without a miracle from these Jeweled Macaws.
+3 health. There's the mountain. I would be surprised. Or taunt, you know. One of the two.
Move quickly.
Very surprised by the taunt here. I think the +3 health seals the deal. Honestly, the Finja probably sealed the deal in this position. WoT trying to cook up any way he loses, and I guess charge damage, kill command it's about it.
From 19. I suppose.
I wonder.
I mean, I guess there was 4 damage on board. No beast. 6 with the hero power. Doesn't matter. Fenom concedes. WoT takes the series 3-0. Didn't draw the Elise. Little bummed.
He's been having a fantastic game score as well. He's at 9-0 in games, 3-0 in matches.
Yeah. If you look at his lineup, he's got sort of like that mid-rangey lineup, which in a full control meta, that mid-rangey lineup is going to do well. He's got like the Taunt Warrior that does well in mirrors. He's got the Gunther Mage with you know, that lower curve, that lower, more aggressive curve, and then mid-range Paladin, or an aggressive Murloc Paladin with Elise, i.e. mid-range.
Sometimes Elise could just provide the pack.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad choice. You know, maybe Stranglethorn Tiger just pushes the better damage, but draws matter.
Draws do matter, yeah.
They matter a lot.
At the end of the day, you run out of resources, that pack comes off the top, you're in good shape.
Boom.
But that's the last game I think we have for the round. Let's check over in with Raven and